Adventures of Irvingman. Some days when it gets hot, she likes to sleep under it. There are moments when I'm tempted to join her. Here's a question for you math folks. If a Superman leaves Metropolis at 3 p.m. heading for London, and the Flash leaves London at 2:55 heading for Metropolis, how loud will the kaboom be when they run into each other?
Yeah, watch your step now, watch your step.
Thank you.
The world's the same all over now, ain't it, Yank? You came all the way over to London just to get yourself run over in the traffic.
How'd you know I was an American?
Our friend there gives Jimmy a little spiel about how he's clairvoyant, but I'm gonna say, lucky guess.
Just like the great baffling Brockhurst here. Him and me are as like as two peas.
That's funny.
What? Me taking you for American? Supposing I admit the truth.
No, I mean that you should mention this Brockhurst guy. He's the reason I ran across over here from the hotel. Mr. Kent, he's a friend of mine. Noticed you had a magazine on Brockhurst.
Oh, yeah. Here we are, Governor.
Brockhurst was probably the greatest magician ever. He was also killed by a truck, lorry, on a coastal road 5 years ago. But he predicted that 5 years after his death, he'd come back. A lot of people are taking bets on whether he does or not. Clark and Jimmy have been covering a story in Sweden and have a layover in London.
But, Lois, that's ridiculous. You tell the chief I don't believe in ghosts.
Clark, Mr. White knows you are planning to come home tomorrow, but this just means staying over in England another day or two to see this friend of his and get the story in Brockhurst.
A layover that just turned into a stayover. Perry has a friend, Sir Arthur Macready, who was Brockhurst's manager. Brockhurst hated him. He pretty well hated everybody. As we go along, we'll learn he was crazy, and said when he came back, he'd kill him. Sir Arthur believes Brockhurst can do it, so he wrote Perry a goodbye letter. Perry wants Clark and Jimmy to go to Sir Arthur's estate and check things out, maybe try to set his mind at ease. And what Perry wants, Perry gets. End of discussion. At the estate, they're talking with Sir Arthur's sister.
I feel he's the only one who might help. At least he won't be afraid of him.
Jeepers, that's Brockhurst, isn't it?
5 years we've been happy. 5 years that spiteful soul's been dead.
If you were so glad to be rid of him, why do you have a giant photo of him over your mantel? Maybe they like to give it the finger as they walk past or something. Whatever the reason, it's creepy. Brockhurst called Sir Arthur on the phone and told him to come to a certain place to meet him. Clark runs out while Jimmy tries to comfort Ms. Macready. As Superman flies towards Sir Arthur's destination, we see the gentleman in question arrive. First one to tell me what's wrong with this picture, I'll pin your comment.
Sir Arthur, do you remember this place, Sir Arthur? This is the place where I was killed, remember?
Sir Arthur says, "What's your point? I wasn't driving the lorry." Brockhurst makes a few more cryptic statements and Sir Arthur has had enough.
Here I am, Sir Arthur. Here I am.
He appears to have had a heart attack. Superman better hurry. He'll be all right. His sister and Jimmy are talking with an inspector from Scotland Yard when the phone rings.
Hello. Sir Arthur Macready's residence. Are you there?
As Clark arrives with Sir Arthur, the inspector gets another call. This time the person is talking.
Yes, but wait. Can't you tell me?
I haven't much time, Inspector. I just wanted to make certain you know who I am.
Yes, but what you just said was that...
Yes, the same words I spoke to you once before, when we had that little difficulty over the Persian parrot swindle.
Now she's plopped down in a sunbeam over there. How can I compete with that? The inspector is shaken. He says nobody else could have heard that conversation, yet he repeated it word for word. He also says that Brockhurst had a few run-ins with the Yard. Next to Sir Arthur, he's probably the person Brockhurst hated the most. He explains it all, and I think my reaction is essentially the same as Clark's.
Well, I've been talking to a ghost.
Now, wait just a minute.
Brockhurst. Even his voice just the same. In fact, he said he'd show up for me later on.
Well, I'm sorry, Inspector, but I don't believe in ghosts that use telephones.
Exactly. Why does a ghost need the phone, just like why does God need a starship?
Hello? Hello, operator. Is there any way I can check on a telephone call that just came through here? Well, I mean, do you have any records? Do you go through a switchboard or... What? Oh, I see. She says no one has used that line for the past several hours.
Somebody go see if a phone line fell on his grave. Super extra bonus points if you get that one. Just then, they catch someone sneaking around and peeking in the windows.
Well, you don't look like much of a ghost to me.
Good heavens.
Evening, Inspector. I didn't do nothing. Just trying to see Sir Arthur, that's all. Didn't want to run into you, sir.
I shouldn't wonder. I nearly got this man jailed for manslaughter 5 years ago.
He's the lorry driver who killed Brockhurst. He says, a voice on the phone told me to come here. I figured obeying a ghost was a good idea. They send him on his way, then Clark says Brockhurst was a magician, a trickster. He heads back down to the coast road to look for clues as to how he made himself appear in the sky like that. Jimmy has his own ideas to check out.
I'm sorry, did I scare you?
What do you want?
I was thinking maybe somebody right in this house phone. I mean, what I'm looking for is an extension of the telephone in the sitting room.
What?
Another phone on the same line.
Oh, there isn't any. Unless in the carriage house, maybe. It hasn't been used in years. It's all closed and boarded up.
Brockhurst could use another extension to call and it wouldn't show up in any call logs from outside. How can he make one extension ring from another extension? He's a magician, just go with it. Sure enough, the carriage house isn't quite as buttoned up as Betty thought it was, and yes, there's another phone in there.
Who is it?
There's also a murderous psychopath in there. He starts stalking Jimmy while Jimmy starts yelling.
Mr. Kent, help!
Mr. Kent is out of the office right now. Will the inspector do?
Lady! What's the trouble? Open up there! Come on, open up!
Excuse me, Inspector.
The inspector will do, but Superman will do
Stay where you are. I've a gun at his back.
Brockhurst! Oh!
Yes, Sir Arthur, the great Brockhurst. Or his ghost.
You're no ghost, Brockhurst. Any more than that picture you projected on the clouds for Sir Arthur's benefit.
He found some of the film when he was re-examining the site. In good crazy villain fashion, Brockhurst has to talk for a while. Rocker, the lorry driver, yeah, that was him in disguise. He killed a man with a lorry and convinced everyone he was the dead man. Now he has everybody he hates in the same room. What did Jimmy or Superman ever do to him? And he's going to blow them all up.
I don't mind really dying now, because I'm going to take you all with me. We'll all be real ghosts together.
Wait, he set up this elaborate Stalin-esque 5-year plan to get revenge on them, and the climax to it all is to blow himself up with them? I see certain flaws in this plan. Clark and Jimmy are headed for their plane, but the newsstand guy is a little embarrassed about all the ghost stuff. He says, "Let me give you something for your trip, just in from the States." Gee, I wonder what it is.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cap,
I'll be seeing you.
show me out. Good luck, Yank. Hey, happy flying.
You expected maybe Captain America? I'm not sure why we thought we had to go to London for this, especially since it's pretty obvious we didn't. I can just as easily see it set in Metropolis with one of Perry's buddies from the We're Better Than You Club and Inspector Henderson. Still, there it is. The story is okay. Even Hazel could see from the beginning that it was going to be a hoax of some kind. And the moment the inspector said, "I was there when they buried him," we looked at each other and said, "Oh, really? Tell me, Inspector, did you take a close look at his face as they closed the lid? Did you check his fingerprints?" And so on. But it had good tension and gave Superman a couple of super things to do. And in an unusual twist for low-budget TV shows of the time, nearly all the British people were played by British people. Concept. Thanks for watching, kids. And remember, clicking that like button is cool. Subscribing is even cooler. Leaving a comment is as cool as the coolest person you know. And becoming a patron makes you almost just like Superman. So don't hesitate. Do it today. Until next time.